Okay, the idea is to launch it here and go over and see that spot on the Google Earth map, and then fly the rest of the 5 miles down the road. I will drive down there and wait for it. But as you notice, I run into problems because this thing does not fly autonomously. It has to have Wi-Fi connection at all time. When it engaged, returned to home, it also turned off my camera, so I have no footage of the flight, return to home flight. Okay, I thought the Anafi, I just plot a plan on the map, and then when I get to the place where I want to fly at, I just upload it and hit start, and it flies that 5-mile route. And I'll be driving ahead waiting for it over there. Well, it turned out I drove over there and I waited and I waited and I waited, and the screen on my cell phone, it said not connected. I couldn't figure that out, so got tired of waiting and decided to drive back and see where that Anafi is. While I was waiting, I noticed on the monitor that the drone has you can see the little red spot where the drone is, how far it made it, and it just seemed to stop there. And I looked and I looked and waited, and it never moved again, so I had no choice but to go back to that spot where I took off from and figure it out from there. Well, you know what, when I drove up, there's a Anafi sitting on the ground, same place where it took off from. Motor's not running. Actually, it was off. The whole thing was turned off, waiting for me. Well, at least I didn't have to go trekking in the desert looking for it. Well, I did get to see what that hole was in the Google Earth. It's a power line tank is what was labeled on the map, but it just looked like a pool of water to me. Wow, that hole looks like a nice swimming hole right out in the middle of the desert, an oasis. I'll have to go back and check it out one of these days. Actually walk over there and see what it is. Or maybe fly the drone a little closer. When it engaged, returned to home, it also turned off my camera, so I have no footage of the flight, return to home flight. Okay, it looks like it got to 6,600 feet, and then it decided to go back home all by itself. Okay, the warnings, the Wi-Fi warnings at the bottom of the screen, I kept getting, but I didn't notice it because the controller was in the passenger seat and I was driving. I wasn't watching it. I thought it would just fly over there all by itself, and I just drive over there and wait for it. Wow, that hole looks like a nice swimming hole right out in the middle of the desert, an oasis. You know, now that I think about it, while I was 5 miles down the road waiting for it, when I seen it had no connection, I was pushing all kinds of buttons. I might have turned that camera off myself. Might have got connection, and because it shouldn't have turned it off. Live and learn, I guess. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. It was an interesting flight. Chasing down the road and back, looking for it. Oh, and there it sits, right where it took off from.